بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome all of you, wherever you are. I welcome you again with your program in the 40 Prophet Hadith in the ruling and the politics, Islamic politics. And today's topic, rule with us with the Book of Allah. This hadith, there is a story in Bukhari and Muslim that Abu Hurairah and Zayd ibn Khalid Juhani, they said, two men, they went to the Prophet ﷺ disputing a matter between them. So one of them said, rule between us with the Book of Allah. And the other one said, and he is more indeed, rule for us with the Book of Allah and allow me to speak. He said, speak. He said, my son here, he used to work for somebody, and this person, he committed adultery with his wife, and they told me that my son has to be stoned. So I gave him 100 some livestock, and then asked the scholars. They said, what my son need to be the stoning for the wife of that person, and my son has to be whipped 100 times. He said, by Allah's name, I will rule. He said, your whatever you give him will be back to you, and your son has to be whipped 100 times, and he has to be absent for 1 year. And go and ask this woman. If she admitted, then stone her. So she admitted, then they stoned her. In this hadith, there is several lessons we could learn. The first one, that the rule, the ultimate rule is the Sharia, the rule of Allah. This is what the Prophet ﷺ has sworn by. He said, by Allah who has my soul, I will rule between you with the Book of Allah. So the ultimate rule is the rule of Allah Azza wa Jal. And to rule with something else beside what Allah had descended is from the things that are forbidden in Sharia. And it is a way out of Islam, or to be rebellious, or to be sinning against Allah. Because Allah said, those who don't rule by what Allah had descended, they are the disbelievers. And then another ayah, they are the transgressors. And the other one, he said, these are the fasiqeen, which is the rebellious, the one who sins. And Allah said, taking the faith on those who do not put the Prophet ﷺ as a ruler. Allah said, no, by your Lord they will not believe until they allow you to rule from the dispute between them, and not to find any burden in their heart on what you have decreed. And Allah made the faith as an indication, because Allah said, those who claim that they believe what descended to you, they want to rule with the devil, and they were ordered to disbelieve in him, and the shaitan wants to put them astray in a big way. So originally it's to rule by Allah's rule and laws, whether you are in Islamic countries or outside. The rules of Sharia calls the Muslim wherever he's at, and to rule by the Sharia is one of the separation between hypocrisy and faith. So what is the rule when you don't go with the Sharia? If it is not on the if it is not applied by the government, that does not mean that the individuals are not responsible to do that. When we rule and make up between people, there is rules. So we stress that Allah has sent His messengers and He descended His books, so people establish justice and fairness, and their way to that is to go back to all the rules of Allah on the absolute justice and deny anything that's against the justice, because you should not go to the local ruling except if there is no alternative, Islamic alternative, that is going to bring the rules, the rights, that our things should be in the right way, and everything has to be according to the rules, because the rule of the ruler or the judge or the fatwa of the person who makes the fatwa will not permit what is permissible or forbid what is forbidden. The permissible things what Allah and His Messenger has permitted, and the forbidden is what Allah and His Messenger forbidden. And whomever allowed that the thing that is agreed upon or change the rule of Allah, then he has taken the rule of Allah out of his place. The people who live outside Muslim countries, they need to put their dispute with the taking the rule of Allah, and to allow them to rule with their Sharia, especially in the personal items. This will lead us to ask about if you work as a lawyer. It is allowed if you agree that, because Allah said, we have descended the book and the rules so you could rule between you for what Allah showed you. So do not be to the betrayers as a defender. So the alternative, when there is no when it cannot be in the government, then it will be it's required on the individual to apply Allah's Sharia. And this could be after the dispute happens, or in the beginning when it happened. And this is in the book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And the ruling and the ruling is all to stop the dispute and to guarantee the rights of people. And the difference between the ruling of the judge or the ruler, the judge is on the general matter, but the person on the individual dispute that they are talking about. And if there is no Islamic government or ruling or the infrastructure, then it will be on the individual or the institutions that replace that in different countries, because they could represent whomever they want to settle this dispute between them. The judge can put someone else, but the person that is agreed between the two parties cannot be replaced, and he is not required of what the judge do, but he will go into what they have agreed to go back to, in the as long as it does not contradict the Sharia of Allah. The contract that the dispute happened, there is rules management, so he have to look into these and make the judgment according to these agreements or conditions in that contract. When there is no Islamic ruling, it is required on the individuals to use the Sharia as reference on how they're going to settle this dispute. And you have to come to the ruling of them. The Muslims also, they are required to prepare themselves, someone who is capable to settle the dispute for something else besides Sharia. But the matter that is very important, how you can make the ruling except the ruling of Allah, meaning the hudud, like for stoning or the cut in the hand or any of those things, because the Prophet ﷺ said, forgive each others on whatever you all do, because if the matter comes to me, the rule of Allah will be applied. So he alayhi salatu wasalam indicated, and he wants people to forgive each other from the things that happen between them on the wrongdoing. So he asked them to always forgive each other. That's why he said, forgive each other between yourselves. Before this matter comes to the authority, before it comes to the court, before it comes to the ruler. So, because don't bring it to me, because if it came to me, then whatever is required by Allah's rule, it will happen. But anything before that, you could make peace between people before it gets to the authorities. But once it is required, and Allah, once the rule of when it comes to the ruler, then nobody can interfere, because the laws of Allah has to be applied. There is no compromise in Allah's ruling. It has to be on the things of blood, because that is for the Allah Azza wa Jal said it is for the person who is the guardian, because Allah has said whomever is killed unjustly, we have given authority to his guardian to be even, and he can forgive. Because when people want to interfere for the Makhzumiyya lady who stole, they don't want her hand to be cut, and he came in, so he got anger at Osama. He said, why you are interfering on the rule of Allah? And then he started addressing the people, and he said it was dooming people before you, that they will only establish the rule on the person who they are not among them. By Allah, if Fatima has stolen, I will cut her hand, or Muhammad will cut her hand. So there is a difference in the rules of Allah and qisas. The get even that Allah has given for the in the killing, it's you can settle everything before it gets to authority. Because once it's in the authority's hand, then the law has to apply. Then the rule of Allah will has to apply. Can the communities who live outside Muslim countries, can they go to the court system? Yes. When it is the only way to get back the right, or to keep harm away. Because if not, that's what the only alternative, whether it is Islam country or outside. And the ruling for this, you cannot get the right or to stop an aggression through the court in the Islamic court, because it's not exist, or there is no authority for it. To decide what is the ruling, Islamic ruling, is that's what you should be asked for, and you get the answer from the scholars who could clarify what that right is. Because anything beyond that will be going beyond what is true. If going to the court system is allowed in the necessity as an exception, and to work as a lawyer, it is allowed to get a right or to defend an aggression that's coming whether it is in the Islamic country or outside the Muslim countries. The lawyer has to rule according to the right, not to try to falsify the facts, whether the person he's defending Muslim or non-Muslim. So to work in as a lawyer, it has to be from the justice of the issue that you are handling. So he will be a representative for the oppressed to take the oppression out, not to help the oppressor against the oppressed, the victim. So whenever he goes to the court system, he is trying to defend his client as a victim, not knowing that he is the oppressor. But to become a judge, no, should not happen, except if that's the only way to keep a harm that applying to the Muslims, and to be allowed that you have to know the Sharia rules and to rule with the laws of Allah as much as you can, and that exception could be to ease as much as you can of the evil on the Muslims, and to increase what goodness and to them, and to bring the best of specialties and judgment to Islamic, and to leave your heart to not want to rule beside what Allah has decreed. And also from this subject, nothing wrong of learning the local laws. If you go to law school and learn the laws, there is nothing wrong of that. Even though these might not be in Islamic, but to know it, to know the truth of it, and to know the bounty of Allah Azza wa Jal and His rules. And you should have from the knowledge of Sharia, where it prevents you from and also the righteous of the Muslims. Some of the general dispute outside Islamic countries or in areas where they rule by it is better to those who dispute in earth and do not correct. It is okay as a Muslim to participate as a jury, but his rule has to be according to the Sharia of Allah, the rule of Allah, to give justice to those who are oppressed, to give them back their rights, and he will be victorious from those who oppress them, and do not rule on any of them with injustice. This is the summary of what is about this hadith. إن شاء الله we'll continue next time. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.